In today's video, I'm going to show you two soups that I think you've probably never had before, maybe not even heard of before, and definitely should give a try this soup season. I've had both of these recently, and they've automatically become like two of my favorite soups. So they're both different versions of their original versions. First of all, they're both Polish inspired soups, and they're adapted to be keto friendly. So this first one, we're just cutting up some slices of Polish sausage, and it comes together really quick. This particular recipe, actually both of them will be just for 2 servings. So these will be, nice and small. So you could obviously make more. You would just need to, double the recipe, and you could easily make this into 4 servings. So this is a play on a white borscht soup. This video, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm kind of going to have Alexa along with us for the ride. So we're going to move on over to the stove and get this going, and we'll talk a little bit about what a white borscht soup is. All right, so we're over by the stove now, and we got our Polish sausage in the saucepan, rendering down, getting nice and hot. We're gonna let that go for a little bit before we add in the rest of our ingredients, which is some chicken stock. And you can see over here, hard-boiled eggs I have chopped up. We're going with a little bit of carrot in today's soup, and that's so we can obviously get the nice color and a little bit of sweetness. Traditionally, it also has onion as well, but I decided to go with onion powder since less carbs, but still all the flavor. And a couple of other things here, including apple cider vinegar. Now, this is not traditional in a typical Polish white borscht, but we're using it because the traditional way of getting a nice tang to it is actually through a rye bread sourdough starter. Yeah, that's kind of crazy for soup. Now, Alexa's going to be here co-hosting with me a little bit. Alexa, can you tell us about traditional white borscht soup and what makes it unique?
Traditional Polish white borscht is all about that fermented wheat starter called zurek. That's what gives it its signature tangy punch. It's loaded with Polish white sausage, smoked bacon, potatoes, onions, and hard-boiled eggs, all swimming in a rich, creamy broth finished with sour cream. Polish white borscht has deep Easter roots. It's traditionally made with blessed ingredients from Polish Easter baskets, so it carries centuries of religious tradition and celebration.
And I think the first time I had this, I saw it at a store, and I think it was right around Easter time, and I was like, this is such a unique soup. It's so good. So I'm glad we kind of tweaked it to make it keto. I just added in the carrot to the saucepan, and we'll let that cook a little bit too. Now, we're making 2 soups today, right? The other soup is going to be like a dill soup. It's also chicken broth based. So I actually have 3 cups of chicken broth here, and I only need 1 for this soup. So we're going to pour the two cups here. There we go. And then we'll keep 1 for this soup. Set this over here for soup number 2. And let's see how these carrots are looking. The sausage is right on point. These are pretty thinly sliced carrots, so we just want them to, maybe cook halfway, because they'll simmer in the broth a little bit too. But I'm thinking we're probably golden here. So we're gonna come in now and hit it with our onion powder. Make sure we get all that. This one's sticking a little bit. I'm going to come in with a little bit of smoked paprika as well. And we are going to go in with a bay leaf and some allspice. I don't really use allspice all that much. Alexa, what is allspice traditionally used in cooking?
Allspice is traditionally used in Jamaican jerk seasoning, pickling, sausage preparation, and curries. It's also a staple in Middle Eastern dishes, where it flavors various stews and meat dishes. In European and American cuisine, allspice is commonly used in baked goods like cookies, pies, and cakes.
Is allspice like a spice blend, or is it literally one spice, but it's just called allspice.
Allspice is actually a single spice, not a blend. It's the dried berry of the Pimenta dioica tree, native to Jamaica and Central America. The name allspice comes from its flavor profile, which combines notes of cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves.
Little pepper. Okay, now we're going to get to the creamy part, the white part, if you will, to make this the White Borscht. Apparently they have a green one and a red one as well, both involving beets, I believe, and I am not a fan of beets, so I will never be trying that or making that on this channel. But in case you're interested, there are other borscht soup colors in Polish cooking. So we got sour cream and heavy cream. We're just going to mix this until it's, well, sour heavy cream, basically, right? And we're gonna take a little bit of the hot broth, maybe 1/8 of a cup, and just kind of put a little bit in there, and then we'll mix it in. We're sort of tempering the cream and broth a little bit because we're gonna toss it in the soup. So we want it to kind of get it pretty close. We just don't want to throw this into very hot liquid because it, curdle up and won't blend in very well. You know what I mean? So we're just going to temper it up a little bit. We really got a nice allspice aroma happening here. So we're going to go ahead and put in the cream and sour cream. Okay. We're going to add in that apple cider vinegar, just the tiniest amount. We don't want it to turn appley. We just want to bring that super bold, tangy flavor in the background. Okay, this would be the time to add a little salt if it needs it. Give it a taste. This is actually right on, so we're good to go. We're going to add in either your halved hard-boiled eggs, or I chopped them up, and we'll just kind of mix them in here and we'll kill the heat. Right, and we'll stir until we see that bay leaf. There we go. Make sure we take Mr. Bay Leaf out. Thank you. And we'll just give a final taste here before we get her in a bowl, just of the broth. Yeah, just the right amount of tanginess that apple cider kind of brings. And then we got the nice, of course, smoked Polish sausage. We got the hard-boiled egg. We got a little carrot for sweetness. And this is my keto version of a classic Polish-inspired White Borscht. Okay, so soup number 2 is going to start with some butter. So we'll get that in our saucepan, and this is going to be for 2 servings as well. And this, again, is another, like I said, Polish-inspired soup. The original version that I tried has rice. So we won't be using rice, obviously, but this is a dill soup. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I'll put it on the screen here. It's Zupa Koperkowa. It's a creamy dill soup with rice. When I had it, there was no meat, but it had tons of dill flavor, chicken broth. Oh, it's so delicious. So now that we got that going, we're going to throw in a little bit of onion and a little bit of carrot. And a lot of good soups kind of start with this base, and we're just going with little amount here. We just want to soften them up. We don't want to add any color, so we don't want the pan too hot. But we do want a little sizzle, and we want those to get going. Alexa, how do you pronounce this dill soup in Polish? Do you know?
The Polish dill soup is pronounced as Zupa Koperkowa.
Zupa Koperkowa. I would think I was pretty close. Alexa, this traditionally has rice, correct? But not in our keto version.
Exactly right. Traditional Koperkowa is loaded with rice, but you're ditching those carbs for your keto twist. I'm dying to see what brilliant substitution you've cooked up to keep all that creamy, dill-packed comfort without the rice.
Well, it's actually my favorite rice substitute, and it's not cauliflower because I don't like cauliflower. But you could do cauliflower riced up if you want. I'm going with finely shredded green cabbage.
Brilliant choice. Finely shredded green cabbage is such a clever swap. It's got that perfect tender bite when cooked and soaks up all those creamy dill flavors beautifully. Plus, it keeps that traditional Polish soul while staying totally keto-friendly.
That's true.
Way better texture than mushy cauliflower rice, too.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of cauliflower, so I've never tried cauliflower rice.
Smart move sticking with what you know works.
Yeah.
Shredded cabbage is honestly underrated as a rice substitute. It's
my
got
favorite
way more
one.
personality than cauliflower anyway. Plus, in a Polish soup, cabbage just feels right at home.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, it does kind of fit right in with the Polish cuisine, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Cabbage is practically the unofficial mascot of Polish cooking, from pierogi to gołąbki to kapusta. You've basically given this soup its Polish passport back while keeping it keto compliant. That's some next level culinary diplomacy right there.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Alexa.
Anytime, Chris. Had a blast being your kitchen co-host for this Keto Koperkowa adventure. Your viewers are gonna love that cabbage twist. Pure Polish genius meets keto brilliance.
Okay, so she's selling it for me, right? All right, so once everything starts to get soft, we're going to add in our chicken broth, and we're going with 2 cups of chicken broth, right? And we want to bring this up to a simmer. This soup comes together even quicker than the white borscht that we just did. I used the fine shred on like a box grater, right? I didn't use like the big shredder. I used the fine shredder, and that kind of gets you like little rice, so it's perfect. And I like how the carrot gives that little orange color too. Whoops. So splash it around, make a mess in your stovetop, and bring it to a simmer. All right, so we just want to take our heavy cream and our sour cream, whisk, spoon, whatever you got. Just go ahead and make it nice and creamy. And we'll wait for that soup to come up to a simmer. It's taking its sweet time here. But we just want that to be, you know, nice and smooth. And get out all that. A whisk does work better than a spoon, but... Okay, and we're going to take 1 teaspoon of the dried dill, or dill weed, and get that into the chicken broth as well. So we'll have a little bit of that dried dill flavor in there, that very strong, potent, and then we'll get that very floral, fresh, grassy-like dill flavor from, and aroma from the fresh stuff at the very, very end. You might be like, oh, that is a lot of dill. It is. It's a dill soup. But trust me, it's not going to taste like pickle brine. You know, it's not that strong and pungent. But it's strong enough to say, oh, this is dill soup. So we're just going to pour a little bit. We're going to pour a little bit of our soup here into the cream. Just to start tempering that a little bit. Just like we did in the previous recipe. With this amount of cream and sour cream, that's just a good idea to do. Just so, because this is, you know, well, it was ice cold. And to throw it into, you know, some simmering soup. It just won't look very pretty, you know, kind of split a little bit. So as long as we can kind of get that a little closer to temperature. And we'll go ahead and add in our cream and sour cream. Very good. Brothy, but yet creamy soup. Packed with dill flavor. We do want this to simmer for a little bit, but just like a bare simmer. We do not want it to boil, especially now that we got the cream and the sour cream in there. Okay, we're going to kill the heat and come in with a big old pinch of that fresh dill. And finally, a little squeeze of lemon juice just to brighten things up. And we'll go ahead and serve. 2 Polish soups adapted to be more keto friendly, but still hold on to their original vibe and still packed with the flavor that makes them, I think, really good soups that need to make an appearance in your schedule this soup season. I'm Cooking with Chris. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already and like the video, because that tells YouTube you want to cook with Chris again.